Here's what I'm doing, Stockliff here, and before this video begins, this is just going to be a laid-back type of video. I'm just going to talk about the NBA playoffs, so if you're looking for gameplay or something like that, it's not going to happen in this video. This is just strictly to talk about the NBA playoffs. Plenty of content is coming, so don't worry about that. But I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the first-round matchups and how I think they'll go for the most part. So to start things off, I'll start in the East because the West is a lot tougher, I think, to predict than the East. Maybe. I don't know. But we'll see. Miami and Milwaukee. Some are saying sweep in that series. But, I'm going to give Milwaukee one. I'm going to give them one game. Reason being simply because, I think that they have enough fight in them to win one game in Milwaukee. They have some dedicated fans there, and they're not going to beat the Heat 4 times. I don't think anybody can beat the Heat 4 times. That's the thing. So definitely putting Miami forward. I'm going to say 4-1 in that series. Now on to Brooklyn and Chicago. I honestly think this is going to go to 7 games, but when it's all said and done, I think Chicago will end up moving on simply because of their defense and just their overall ability, as a team. I know that Derrick Rose probably isn't coming back as much as I want to believe it, and trust me, I want to. They have a legitimate shot if he's in it, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think Chicago will get by Brooklyn simply because of the way Kirk Hinrich's been playing, Nate Robinson, and if Joakim Noah's healthy, Boozer's been playing pretty well, Dang's been playing pretty well. They're just a good unit, and Brooklyn's been doing okay of late, but they've been just sort of mediocre all season, and I say that because, they would be like a 6 or 7 seed in the West or something, like maybe 6, I think. So just think about that for a second. So, Brooklyn is a good team. Darren Williams has been sort of off this season. Definitely not one of his better seasons. I'll say that. But I'm giving the edge to Chicago, but it will go to Game 7, in my opinion. Indiana and Atlanta. I don't really see Atlanta putting up much of a fight, to be honest with you. They just have Josh Smith, Al Horford, and that's not a whole lot to build around because the fact is Indiana just has Paul George, Danny Granger if he's coming back, but they don't even really need Granger. They haven't needed him all season. They've played without him fine, and especially with David West and Roy Hibbert, it's hard to beat a front court like that. Indiana out-rebounds Atlanta, and I think they take it 4-1 or 4-2. I'll say 4-1 myself, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went 4-2, but I'll give the edge to Indiana. Now, right here's where it gets tricky for me. You got New York and Boston. I'm a Boston fan. I'm a Celtics fan, so, it's hard to go against them, but I think it's just time for New York. I honestly think it's just time for New York to step up, and I'm going to say New York in 7, simply because they have home court advantage, and I know what happened in Boston, the bombing and whatnot, and I don't know if that will affect how they'll play, but, Boston will definitely bring it, and New York will definitely bring it. I just think New York just has a better team. They have the scoring champion, which in Carmelo Anthony, and in my opinion, 6th man of the year, J.R. Smith. You could give it to Jamal Crawford if you want, but take it or leave it. But yeah, I'm gonna say New York in that series in 7. So now moving on to the West, and I love these matchups, by the way, every single one of them. OKC and Houston will be a pretty entertaining matchup, if I do say so myself. You have Kevin Durant and James Harden squaring off, but ultimately I think Oklahoma City will be too much for Houston to handle. And I think 4-1 will be the outcome of that. Solid 4-1. Houston will probably get a game. No real reason to talk about that except for James Harden going up against his old team, Kevin Martin going up against his old team, and everyone else that was traded in that mess, like Perry Jones. Well, no, Perry Jones wasn't traded, but well, I don't even know what I'm thinking. But some minor players were traded in that as well. Now this one is hard because the Clippers have been sort of inconsistent recently. They've been all right, and Memphis has been, sort of inconsistent as well. But I think Memphis is the only team in the Western Conference in the playoffs to not average over 100 points per game, if I'm not mistaken. And I really think they have an Eastern Conference top defensive style to them. Now, will they beat the Clippers? Well, last year it was very, very interesting, to say the least. We all remember, well, I don't know if we all remember, but I remember the 21-point comeback the Clippers had. It was in the 20s. I think it was 21, maybe 23. I can't really remember. I know it was 20 plus, but they had an incredible comeback in that. To be honest with you, I think Memphis got worse since the Rudy Gay trade, but I understand that with cap space and Tayshaun, one of my favorite players in the NBA, so it's hard to go against him. But ultimately, I think the Clippers with CP3 is just too much to handle. I'm going to say the Clippers in 7 again, though. I mean, this will be an interesting series. You can't go wrong with it for a second year in a row. I remember watching most of the games in this series, and I'm going to try to watch most of them again because that was one of the most entertaining series there was last year. So look out for that. And this is a pretty key matchup, Denver and Golden State. Definitely two electric offenses going head-to-head in that one. I'll definitely give the edge to Denver, though, even though Danilo with his ACL injury and Kenneth Faried with an ankle sprain or whatever was wrong with his ankle. I think he'll be back in time. He was listed day-to-day. So with that said, I think Denver is just too good inside. I mean, I think Denver has the defensive ability to stop Golden State from shooting threes somewhat. And, they score in the paint so much, and they're just hard to beat. And I think, they have the best home record in the NBA, I think with only 3 losses. And that's just insane. That is insane. And Miami's second best, but that's just crazy to think about that Denver is the best at home. Now, that definitely, people say, well, Denver with the altitude and stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. I've never been to Denver. I can't really speak for that, but I will say this. Denver is a great all-around team, and I think they can make a playoff push. I don't know if they can get past, who I'm going to predict next. I don't know if they can get past them. I don't know if they can get past OKC or Los Angeles Clippers. It's just tough down the road, but I'll give the edge to Denver. I'll say 4-2 in this series. Now on to San Antonio and Los Angeles Lakers. I hate it that I have to sort of clarify between the different Los Angeleses, but Los Angeleses, if that's even whatever. But anyways, with Kobe out, I'm going to give the edge to San Antonio in this one, especially with a healthy Ginobili. I mean, Parker, Ginobili, Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan, and I guess Thiago Splitter, they've been starting him. I mean, I'm really not sure what the deal with that is. The Spurs seem like they always don't have a big man. Like, they always have Tim Duncan, but they had Fabrizio Alberto there for a while, and just everything else in the world. But I got to give it the edge to San Antonio. They've been resting, and they almost beat the Lakers with their bench lineup in the other night. With the Lakers trying, their hardest to, get in the playoffs and secure a spot, not only as a 8 seed, but as a 7 seed. So, with that said, I just don't see it. I mean, the Lakers will try to put up a fight. Maybe 2 games they'll win out of this whole series, but I wouldn't give them any more than that. I would not give them any more than that. I just think Tim Duncan is having a miraculous season. I mean, what he's been doing is nothing less than magnificent. And I think Dwight Howard will definitely step up and fulfill a bigger role, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it happening. I kind of wanted to root for him with Kobe. I was like, well, how cool would it be if they turned it around like at the last second? It'd be a major story, but I don't think they have a shot. I don't think they have a shot at beating San Antonio. So those are my first round predictions. I'm going 4-1 Miami, Milwaukee, 4-3 Chicago, Brooklyn, 4-1 Indiana, Atlanta, maybe 4-2, 4-3 New York, Boston, OKC 4-1 Houston. Well, that came out wrong. OKC 4, Houston 1, LAC 4, Memphis 3, Denver 4, Golden State 2, San Antonio 4, Los Angeles 2. I'll give them 2. But it's sort of like a last second 2, you know what I mean? Like, I think San Antonio will go up 3-1 in the series, and the Lakers will try to answer back and try to force Game 7, but it's just not going to happen. I mean, San Antonio's pretty good at home, too. I mean, yeah, that's that. So, hope you guys have enjoyed this breakdown, and I'll probably do another one for the second round. I know that all my predictions probably won't be right, but I think I'll get most of the teams right. Now, the ones I'm not sure about is the Clippers and the Grizzlies, the Nuggets and the Warriors, Knicks, Celtics, Nets, and Bulls. Those are the 4 matchups where I'm not 100% sure. Like, the rest, I could pretty much guarantee you that, it's going to happen. And I say Denver and Golden State because you never know what Golden State's going to do. If they catch fire, you can't do anything with them. But that's that. So if you have any questions, ask away, and I'll be sure to do the second round whenever it rolls around, probably here in a few weeks. But hope you guys have enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.